Guys, here's a fun fact. The first ever touchdown in the first ever Super Bowl was scored by a guy who was extremely, debilitatingly hungover.
That's great.
That's the way you want it.
That's a great start to a wonderful franchise.
Yeah. So the year is 1967. We are in Los Angeles for Super Bowl I. It wasn't called that at the time. It was just the AFL-NFL championship game. The Chiefs are representing the AFL, Green Bay Packers representing the NFL. So Packers coach Vince Lombardi really wants to show out for the NFL. He has a lot of pride riding on this game. And so he has instituted a curfew for his players who are hanging out in LA. He doesn't want them to go too nuts.
No funny business.
No funny business. Everyone's got to be in the hotel room by 11 p.m. On the Packers is a 34-year-old receiver named Max McGee.
Cool.
It's a cool name. It's
Children's book character, Max McGee.
Yes, yeah. Max McGee and the Steam Shovel, yeah. So Max McGee has had a great career with the Packers, but he's 34, he's barely played all season. He knows he's not getting in the game. He's also sort of a party animal. He's in LA, might not have this opportunity again. So he, checks into the hotel and is in the right place for the 11 p.m. check-in. It's kind of cute. They had an assistant coach or someone going around checking hotel rooms like you're on a school field trip. After that check-in is over, slips out, finds two flight attendants that he had met at the hotel, and they all go out on the town, drink, carouse, have a wonderful time.
That is the most 1967 we're in LA, I'm a professional football story I've ever heard.
Yes. So he rolls back to the hotel around daybreak. I've seen 4:30 a.m. I've seen 6:30 a.m.
I hate even hearing those times.
Yeah. The sun is coming up. Some of the Packers players are on their way out of the hotel or getting up for breakfast or whatever. He calls up to his hotel room. They're like, hey, did they check again? No, they didn't check again. Cool. So he's not feeling great, shows up for the game, has a meeting with his fellow receivers. The guy who is sort of first string ahead of him is a gentleman named Boyd Dowler, who had a chronic shoulder injury, but he was healthy enough to play. And Max McGee's like, listen, Boyd, that shoulder injury, we need to keep that intact today. I am feeling extremely hungover. Take care of yourself.
I love the image of Max following him around the locker room and being like, hey, how is everything? Can I get you anything? Don't touch him, please. Can I,
So, as you might suspect, Max is sitting on the bench, probably with a headache, probably feeling not so great in the tummy, probably sweating.
Oh, stop. Stop.
On one of the very first plays of the game, Boyd Dowler goes in for a block and completely separates his shoulder. There was no question the dude's day is over. And sure enough, Max McGee has to get off the bench and go play professional football in the NFL-AFL championship game in front of tens of thousands of people with a ringing hangover. I want to show you guys a couple photos that I found of Max McGee during this game. It's funny, this has been a thing on Twitter recently that people in the 60s and earlier, they just looked older at younger ages than they do now. And I think that's especially true when you're hungover. But take a look at Max McGee on the sideline of this game.
He's so sick.
God.
He's trying to breathe in cold air. You can tell.
That is a 34-year-old.
Okay, first of all, you're absolutely right. He looks like a dad who's helping his kid move to college. This guy's easily 50 years old.
So he got in on one of the very first drives of the game. He ended up finishing the drive with a 37-yard touchdown reception.
My man.
From Bart Starr.
Doesn't say much about the defense there.
It does not say much about the Kansas City Chiefs defense in this instance, but he actually ended up, I have it right here, he ended up with 7 receptions for 138 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Whoa.
He had another one that day.
Had himself a day.
Some people argued that he should have been MVP. The Packers did go on to win. He could go tell the story after this because he didn't end up getting in trouble for it.
Do the people who want him to be MVP know that this was under duress?
I assume so. It's funny because this, when you research this story, which has been told many, many times, it gets shared in a sort of bro legend context of this dude had a raging hangover but had one of the best games ever, what a champ. But he must have been terrified at the time.
Yeah.
Among the physical ailments of I feel like my organs are gonna fall out of my body, there's also the mental fuck, what have I done?
What have
I done?
What if I let the team down?
What if I die? What if I actually die on the field? That's gotta be Like you're standing up, you're looking for your helmet or whatever, and you're like, oh no, I'm gonna die.
You actually just reminded me, he went on the field, he was called into the game by surprise, didn't have his helmet at hand, and went on the field wearing, I guess, like a lineman or a defensive player's helmet with like the much more aggressive cage. So we also like couldn't see that well and had on a way. Imagine having a football helmet on when your head feels like that too.
God. Very hungover thing to just kind of put on whatever's around and be like, I gotta get out. The most I've ever done in that state is like drag my ass to the bodega for Gatorade.
Yeah, with hoodie, with like, tied like this and sunglasses on.
Yeah, you're with the Kenny from South Park. Like,
so not to put you guys on the spot, but, and hangover or otherwise, do you guys have a story like this where you were unprepared for something? Maybe you had taken the risk of not preparing yourself for something, and then you look kind of like you got pushed into the line of duty.
Yeah, so in high school, despite my small stature, I played high school basketball, but played is a generous term.
Point guard?
Yeah, how'd you know? My main role was to take charges, very fun. But I didn't come off the bench much. And at my school, we had a rule where if you happened to skip any classes and also play in a game in the same day, the team forfeits the game. So for a while, I was abiding by the rule, but like, you get frustrated after a couple of weeks without playing. And so on a certain day, there was a game, but my friends were skipping school, and that's fun and cool also. So I went with them, and then that just so happened to be the very first game that I got called in to play. I was just like awash with guilt. That's my first chance to play. It's my first chance to show everyone how wrong they are.
Right, that's different because like this guy's a veteran. He's seen it all. He's done it all. He doesn't really care whether he gets in the game anyway.
Right, that mentality is insane to me. I cared so much.
If you found yourself in this situation, extremely hungover, sitting on the bench, feeling terrible, but knowing that you don't have to move for the next few hours and hopefully you'll get a Super Bowl ring for nothing, and then they said you have to go in the game, you have 60 seconds until you're going to be called upon. Do you have a strategy? Is there something you're going to do to try and get yourself ready?
Maybe I would tell the quarterback, like, don't throw it to me. I'm sick. Don't throw it to me.
Yeah, like, I just realized my fingers are broken. So.
Yeah, it'd be really fun if you were in the huddle calling plays like, okay, we're going to not pass this to me and break. What? I'm really hungover. Ready? What?
Or you could go the opposite way and go to the quarterback or the coach and be like, hey, I just noticed that, their defensive line looks really weak. There's a hole. We should definitely run the ball. Run the ball.
Establish the run. Establish the run. If it were me, I would have just gotten up on my own and started setting up. They didn't have this back then, but the tent, the tent that they fold now. I think I would just be like, I'm good. You guys go ahead. I'm going to just get on the table and lay down. I wouldn't have done it, is what I'm saying.
In short.
Thanks a lot for watching. If you want to see more videos and get notifications when we post stuff and find out about what's coming next, please subscribe to our channel. It'll make me really happy.